Good morning. It is Tuesday, the last day of June. I cannot believe that we have made it all the way to the end of June and we're still having to work from home. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I'm flying solo today. It's just me, myself, and I hosting the show. Frank is off, but he will be back tomorrow. So I'll do my little spiel of social media and be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel where we have thousands of videos at your disposal, all produced by our very own HCCTV. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be the first to find out the latest. And also, be sure to share this little podcast. We'd like to grow our audience, but also share all of our important information to the masses. Once again, good morning, everyone. I am joined by a very special guest. She is not only a student success story that brought down the house at our Board of Trustees meeting, but she's an amazing individual, and I'm so excited to welcome Jennifer Jan Taylor. Good morning.
Hi there. Good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Brittany.
You are most welcome, and you most certainly warrant it because, like I told you before we just started here, I rewatched your student success story just to refresh my memory about who you are and all the things that you've come through, and it's truly inspirational. As I said, Jan is a student success story who is an international business student in the supply chain management and really brought down the house at one of our Board of Trustees meeting. If you're wanting to find out what I mean by that, just check out this video that HCCTV produced of our very own Jan Taylor.
I remember when I was a young girl, my dad said to me one day, listen, you can be anything you want to be. Put your head to it, you can do it. And he always said, one thing people can do, they can take a lot from you, they can never take your knowledge. So I found myself divorced after a 20-year marriage. I had to recreate myself, and it hit me. You need to go back to school. And here I am at HCC pursuing a degree in international business. While at HCC, because of my exemplary studies, my grades, my community service, I found myself being offered a scholarship by the United States Department of State to go to India to study abroad. Also, while at HCC, I was awarded a paid internship with Pepperl & Fuse International Logistics Company to do a co-op study program. Just imagine, I traveled across the world to India, came back to the States safely, only to find myself 3 weeks later in a major car accident. While traveling from my HCC class, going to the co-op assignment, a tire was lost from one of the commercial vehicles on the road, and that tire hit my car head on. All I remember is the car went airborne, and next thing I knew, again, I was stuck upside down. I've dealt with a lot in my life: domestic violence, being homeless, trying to start all over again, and now having to deal with multiple spinal injuries, knee injury, and just intense physical therapy. The challenge of keeping it mentally together is bigger than the physical, because the traumatic situation that I went through, being trapped in that car, is something that I deal with daily. Everything that I had done up to that point, I felt like it was falling apart. I had to figure out how to keep it together. Having two parents that overcame the most impossible obstacles, my dad being sickle cell, my mom being totally disabled from a major car accident as a pedestrian, it made me look at this and say, you have to fight past this. You have to get these, you have to do your grades. You have to go to the PT. And here I am today, finished my finals, didn't do as well as I would have done, I'm sure, if without the accident, but I made it. And it was my story when I walked back into those classrooms that the other students were like cheering me. Like, I can't believe you're in the class. I came to HCC to learn international business, but what I also learned was the power of community of the students and the faculty in HCC.
What an incredible story, Jan. I mean,
Wow.
how do you feel watching that video?
Every time I watch that video, it reveals a lot about my journey that you only can get, like, each time. Like, you hear a song once and it's a song that resonates in your life, and then you hear it again and again, different things can come out of it. That's what that video does. It's like it talks about the life-changing experience for me. So yeah, sometimes it brings me to tears, but they are happy tears, and then sometimes it makes me jump up, and shout. So it has a whole lot of emotions just twirling all inside of it. And thanks to Nathan and HCC for being a part of that story and that journey with me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so we have some incredible crew members with HCCTV who do excellent work. Nathan, who is our director behind the scenes on this show, is the producer for your video. So shout out to Nathan, as always.
Yeah.
Jan, I want to talk a little bit about your journey coming from Florida to Houston to deciding to come to HCC to be a student and study international business. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, what brought me to Houston was love and adoration for a man. And fast forward, somehow it got off track, and there was divorce staring me right in the face. Just a horrible, horrific heartbreak and betrayal. And I look at that and I say, Brittany, a lot of, like I said about that video, a lot of that is what evolved me from there to here. And I'm going to say it, there's a book coming, because the totality of what I dealt with, a lot of women need to know that sometimes you have to pause, stop, and you start the brakes over, you start over again. And HCC, man, that was the beginning of the start over and the recreation of me. And as we go through this interview, you'll see, I mean, there's just, I can't even really, it's a lot that HCC has just been there for me. And also the mentality, the mental aspect of it, that I had to get my head right in order to take that first step.
So talk about taking that first step and enrolling at HCC, because you pursued an associate's degree in international business with a concentration in supply chain management, logistics, import, export, trade. So that's a mouthful to say, of course. But what drew you into that area of work for you?
Well, for several years back, when I was married, me and my ex-husband started a transportation company, whereas we were transporting boats and heavy equipment across the country and internationally as well. So I got into the freight forwarding and was a part of customers who were millions, well, not millions, but thousands and thousands of miles away from me. And I knew the gist of that part. And then if you take it on back farther, being born and raised in South Florida, which is a melting pot, you grow up with people of different nationalities, and you grow up trying to understand their culture, because they're in the thick of things with you. They're in school with you. They're in your lifestyle. So with all that together, when I came to the ending and the dark point in my life
Yeah.
after the divorce, I was like, what can I do um,
Jan,
to
I think
make
we're
this
losing you a little bit.
something that I could stick with? And I chose that. Can you hear me?
You're,
I
I
think
think
I'm going out a little
I think
bit.
the internet's kind of cutting in and out for you at this time. So
Okay, got you. Yeah, it was the back and forth and the lifestyle I was in Fort Lauderdale that caused me to be at this. Oh no!
I think we're still losing you, Jan.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you,
And
but
it's
we've
showing
got
that
a
I'm
screen
good, but
freeze.
I don't know.
There we go. We can see you now.
Okay, God, let's work this thing out. Come on.
And it's so unfortunate that technical difficulties are occurring at this time, because I really want you to share your story with everyone here on Up to the Minute. So as I said, this is a time where everyone decides they want to get on the internet all at the same time. They're
Yes,
so eager to
and that's
hear
what
your
we, yeah,
story.
yeah, we're going through. I mean, this is what virtual. This is what the new life is.
And we lost Jan again. So hopefully she'll come back to us and we'll be able to continue our interview.
Like, we're gonna have to try to figure out how to deal with the ins and the outs, and just keep it flowing. So my end sounds good, but am I still coming in and out?
Yeah, you kind of are.
I don't know why.
I'm not sure why either. I mean,
Okay, I don't know what to tell
technology
you.
fails us when we need it most. So yeah.
Minimize my body movement. Okay, cool beans. Okay, I'm gonna get still right here. There we go.
All right, Jen. Just picking up from just you talked about being from South Florida. It's a melting pot. There had been a previous business between you and your then husband for international trade. So that's what got you into coming to HCC to pursue a degree in international business with that
Yeah.
concentration in supply chain management. Um, so when do you plan on graduating?
If all goes well with the hold on.
You're okay. We still have you.
If all goes well with the coronavirus schedule, then it looks like I'll be graduating May 2021.
That's fantastic. And are you pursuing a bachelor's degree?
Oh yes, I want to go farther into international business, but with a concentration more on the cultural affairs side.
That's fantastic. Talking a little bit about the cultural affairs, you had a very unique opportunity to study abroad to a trip to India. Talk about that experience and how you were able to um, get that opportunity to study abroad.
Well, it was a blessing from God, and it came about in my life. I received a notice to apply for a scholarship from, I got to get it right, the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, United States Department of State, Critical Language Scholarship Study Abroad Program, in Jaipur, India. So getting that notice, it was like, I think 3 or 4 levels of essays that you had to do to get to the point where you were the final recipient. And I just kept pushing forward. And one day I looked in the email and wow, I was chosen as one of the finalists. And just getting that, Brittany, that was the epitome. That changed my life. It also, in a big way, with my career, because it allowed me to see firsthand how third world countries really, really, really need the economic development and the international trade to impact their economics. And America, they really lean on us. And so being there as an ambassador, as we were, it's a lot. And we just going out and about and seeing the people and seeing how they live. You come back home and you realize how fortunate even the worst fortunate, or even the worst person in America is way, way, way fortunate if they were to look at the life of a person that's living in India at their worst.
I would imagine it definitely opens your eyes to the things that are available here to us readily as opposed to other areas of the world that are not so readily available. And looking at my notes here, you actually now speak 3 languages.
Yeah, now I'm, English, Spanish, and I got my foot in the door with Hindi. I'm still continuing the practice of it. I have professors that I continue to keep in contact with from India, and they send me drills. So I'm trying to stick with it.
Well, that's fantastic. I would imagine that's a difficult language to try to master, but good for
Ooh,
you. I mean,
ooh, yes, yes, yes,
that
yes.
makes
There was,
you so much more valuable in the workplace, and
mm,
especially in the field that you were pursuing with international business and cultural affairs. I mean, that just definitely is such an advantage for you.
oh yes, definitely. And if just to speak of one of the areas of the trip that really stands out in my heart, I sent you some notes about that. It was a field trip that we went on to a place called Barefoot College, and it was founded by a gentleman, millionaire guy from India. His name is Bunker Roy, and people can look him up on TED Talk. But let me tell you something. His idea was just is something that you can't even put into words. It's a college of illiterate women and men, mostly women, and they are learning skills, but many of them don't speak the same language. They're learning skills, and it teaches you that you don't have to speak really the same language with your mouth. You just got to speak the language in your head. And if you want to do it and you feel and you can find the willpower to do it, those women learn how to build solar panels that are like, they were going in and they're able to actually be a part of the distribution system, as well as like fresh coffee and honey. They had a section in there that they were designing homemade designer clothes. It was just remarkable to see how you can take the mind and what you can do with the mind. It just blew my mind. And they were also building like solar batteries, because the whole institution, the land, is operated by solar. So
That is incredible to
oh yeah,
witness.
that just blew my mind. And that's where you go with the cultural affairs in my journey. Things like that will play a major, major part.
That sounds incredible, and I'm listening to you, but keep looking at our live stream because I want to see the photos of your
Oh,
trip. And
cool beans.
what is the most memorable weekend for you while you were?
Okay, outside of that one, the most memorable was me and a group of us went to visit Taj Mahal. And that was on my bucket list. Never would have thought that I would get to visit there. Brittany, there isn't really an adjective in the Webster dictionary to explain what that feeling was. And just from the time you get there and the fact that you have to take off your shoes and it's so pure, it's the serenity and peace that you pull from it. Well, no matter what your religion is, you know that you're in a place of higher energy. It was remarkable. So that goes down for the top of my list of all. And I'm
I couldn't
sure I
agree
have
more.
some of my friends here that are on the call here. I'm sure they're listening. That were a part of that and a part of this entire journey. And if I could give them a shout out, because I'm telling you, being the only African American, Brittany, on the trip, right now what we're going through, this makes a major difference, this statement. They never saw the skin. I never felt like they looked at me at any other way but that I was Jennifer, and that I was a student just like them. And to have those type of bonds that we put together, just came into place, and then to this day, a year or so later, here we are still connected. It goes down in history because you have to be able to say that in this world, it's tough. It's a real world. But when you can say that there's times when we as Blacks do experience it, but we also want to be able to put the word out there that there are times when there are people out there that do not look at my skin and they see me for who I am. And if we can just get that out there and those people out there to feel that, girl, this world would be awesome. Being in India, I felt like, people, they just loved me. People who didn't even know me, they just loved on me. They never treated me different. And that's big to me. That's really big.
Yeah, that is such a statement. I mean, obviously we're going through some tough times right now here in this world. And if I've been saying it all along, we just be better human beings to one another and look past what we see right in front of us, the world would definitely be a better place. And speaking of struggles and obstacles, Jan, shortly after your study abroad, you faced some major adversity in your life. And if you like, could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, it's a tough time, and I'm still going through it. So I have to pull from within to get that strength to really tell you what the magnitude of this all was. But the big thing too, I want to start out by saying, Brittany, the biggest obstacle for me was learning how to accept that I got it wrong or that I failed or in something. That was when my marriage fell apart. And that is what made me pull to this. When I got into that accident, October 2019, it was dark. I was by myself. I'm in Houston. All my family lives in South Florida and other parts of the country. But I had to figure out how to do it on my own. And that, I tell you, was something that, again, I can't even think of words to explain that. I had to dig really deep, and I had to lean on my faith in God. And here I was dealing with multiple spinal injuries, head trauma that came about. I thought it was just like headaches, and then all of a sudden you realize it's way deeper than you thought. And then you're dealing with the mental disorder, the PTSD of being stuck in the car for a length of time and praying that somebody, the EMS, hurry up and come and get me out of this car that was upside down. And you fast forward, I had just started the fall semester, girl. So here I was already in classes. And I had to say, you know what? I can't quit. It's going to be tough, but I must stick it out. I must stick it out. And here I was juggling mental and therapy, physical sessions and mental sessions and specialists on daily, weekly. And I got through it and through the classes that first semester. And then here I was again, faced with the spring semester. And it's like, should I enroll or should I just take a break? I got a lot on my plate. And then that other mind and voice said, no, you must enroll. You can do this. You can do this. And I did it. I went through the summer, this past spring, finished with a bang. Definitely by the grace of God and my friends and my family and my just lovely mother called me every single day. Sometimes she might have went up to 20 times. But with that, it got me through it. That's what got me through that tough time, and being able to know that there's something deeper and bigger inside you than what's in front of you. And if you can dig there and connect with it, that faith, it will bring you through it. And even now, I still struggle with the coronavirus, having to be stuck in home. And I'm getting so much better. I want to be able to get out and about, and I can't. So there's a mental level of keeping it together that very few people understand unless you walk this walk. It's hard to really, really grip what I'm going through. But people tell you, I just keep smiling through it, girl. Even through the pain, I just keep smiling.
I'll tell you right now, Jan, you are receiving so much love here on this
Oh my
live
God.
stream. Uh,
Really?
so many people are so proud
Oh
of
my
you
God.
and
Oh
keep
my
telling
God.
you, to keep going, dig deeper, connect, within your faith. And so obviously you have made an impact more than you know,
Mm,
not just within your own life, but to others as well. And I definitely would totally agree with why you brought down the house at the Board of Trustees meeting with your inspirational story of perseverance despite all these trials that you have gone through throughout your life. And what a pleasure it is to speak with you, for you to be so transparent about your life and share that to the masses, because I know that there are so many students out there who share similar struggles and
yes.
can relate to you based on how I'm a student, but I went through this and I'm going through this and I don't know what to do. But you are an example of the success that
Yes.
you
Yes.
work so hard towards and you will achieve come May 2021 with your associate's degree in hand and transferring for your 4-year degree. I'm so very grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you this morning about
Yes.
your journey, because it's truly remarkable.
Brittany, I want to just say, piggyback off of that when you said that what it means to the students. During this time, I ended up being a recipient of a scholarship, and that's hard. Trying to do essays and put that together, and your brain is going in a whole different direction. And to be the recipient of the one scholarship that is going to make a major difference, hopefully, in my life, and is associated with Houston Community College. It's Houston District Export Council. And to get that scholarship and to, in spite of what I was going through, that's something for students who are listening to me. Don't get caught up on the negative side of the journey. You have to push and you have to see the other side. Even if it looks dim, you got to see yourself on the other side. So I'm just glad. And before we end, I just want to say, from the people who are hollering and yelling out at me, I want to make sure that the gang from India, my beginners class, please, guys, I love you so much for everything that you've done and how you stuck with me. Uh, Chandra Zoo, who was my roommate, there was times when I just wanted to give up and say it's just too much for me, and she would just send me so many messages at night, 2 and 3 in the morning. We were studying. Stephanie, Kaylee, Samantha, Mara, Luke, James, Carl, Lauren, and Gmo. These were the beginner classes, and we really, really had to lean on each other to get to the next day. And I also want to say thank you to the summer 2019 instructors and staff at American Institute of Indian Studies in Jaipur and Rajasthan. I know they're saying it too, we all appreciate you all for investing in us. So here we are. I'm back at ACC. I didn't take any classes, Brittany, over this summer because I needed to concentrate on me. I needed to get to a point that when the fall comes, I can really stick my head into it and complete with another bang. So keep me in prayer, everybody.
Self-care is incredibly important.
Oh, yes.
You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And obviously,
Yes.
you've got a lot on your plate, as you have said before, but you will persevere because you are a woman of strength. I can see that clearly. And
Thank
again,
you. Thanks to my
I'm going to go.
mommy and my daddy. Woo-hoo.
Jan Taylor, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Up to the Minute to share your very inspirational journey here at HCC. Best of luck with your studies and your career goals and everything else going on in your life.
Thank you for having me, Brittany, and much love to the HCC family.
Thanks, Jan. All right, well, we're going to wrap Up to the Minute now. It was a wonderful interview with Jan. Tune in tomorrow morning as we are going to be visited by Derek Irvin from the Alternative Teacher Certification Program. HCC is a state-approved comprehensive educator preparation program that trains for Texas Standard Certification in elementary and secondary education. So thank you all for joining us this morning on Up to the Minute. Be sure to like us on our social media pages, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.